Hello, I'm Rhiannon from the Epsom Bakehouse, and I'm going to answer another one of your key bread making questions today. And this is a question that I ask in all of my bread making classes, and often when I ask it, I get maybe not much of a response, maybe a bit of quiet foot shuffling and blank stares. And that question is, what is gluten? Well, gluten's actually a protein, and it's found in many cereal grains such as wheat, rye, barley, spelt, except it isn't quite, because gluten is actually formed when two other proteins in cereal flour bond together in the presence of water. So, for example, when you put the water into the flour and start mixing your dough together, those two proteins are gliadin and glutenin, and as I said, they bond together to form your gluten. It's a little bit hard to describe what gluten's like, and so the best way to describe it is if I show you this spring. You probably all had one of these when you were a kid. And gluten is just like this spring because it's very stretchy, but you can put it all the way out like this once it's formed, but if you let go of one end, it'll snap back into the position it once was. So this can explain why it can be a bit difficult to shape your bread dough, especially if you've kept fiddling with it and playing with it. Gluten doesn't like that. It wants to snap back into position. So you'll find you'll try and stretch out your bread dough on the work surface, and then suddenly it will contract back to where it was at the start. So that's the best way of thinking about gluten, as a stretchy, elastic molecule. And that structure and stretchiness of gluten is like a scaffold for your bread dough. So as the yeast begin to produce gas, and they're digesting the starch in your flour, they'll produce gas, and each of those gluten molecules will form small pockets which will gradually expand like lots of mini balloons blowing up in your dough, and hopefully your dough will rise and be supported in its final shape by the structure of the gluten scaffold inside. So that's a bit more about what gluten is. If you'd like to ask me any questions, do drop me a line. I'm at info@theepsombakehouse.co.uk, or you can find me on Twitter or Facebook, Epsom Bakehouse. Thanks, and see you again soon.